Everything is fine here on Detention Black AA23, a Star Wars podcast. I'm Mike, joined by Mr. Bob Saget himself. Rest in peace. But here in the flesh, one way or another. How you doing, Mr. Bob Saget?
I'm doing fucking fine.
Man, there was some enthusiasm behind that. You are doing fine.
Well, Bob Saget, as a comedian, was very vulgar.
He was.
Personality in
Shockingly.
Full House was much different than it was in reality. So he was
Just
one of my favorite comedians. Just gone way too soon. I don't even know, like, did they ever say what exactly happened to him? I think maybe he just was alone. And
I don't know. I don't recall what, because I think you were reminding me that it was about a year ago that it happened. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, I can't recall the cause
anyway,
of death.
gone too
But
soon. I
oh
feel like I wanted to honor his memory.
yeah, yeah. I never would have guessed about the vulgarity coming from the Full House show because that's really all I really knew him for. And then I remember he was in like the prequel Dumb and Dumber movie. Did you ever see that one when
Oh, God.
Harry
I'll be
met
honest with you, like Dumb
Lloyd?
and Dumber is not one of my favorite movie series. A lot of people like,
Well, the first one's really good. The rest are not that
yeah,
good.
well, the sequel that they did was terrible, as
Yeah.
most sequels that are like way after the fact tend to be.
Yeah.
Talking about you, Star Wars.
I feel like a lot of comedy sequels have a tendency to be bust because I feel like they just try to rehash the same jokes and it just doesn't hit twice. So
The
there are,
one I'm actually looking forward to quite a bit is the rehash of, well, the second Beetlejuice.
oh, that's right. Yep.
Because apparently Tim Burton is like really intent. I think that's who directed it, Tim Burton.
Yeah, I would think so.
If not Tim Burton, somebody in that realm. But like it's all going to be very similarly shot. Like they're going to keep it similar to how they had shot the original movie, right? All
Mhm.
practical effects, no CGI. So I'm excited about that. I think that's going to turn out good. But it's hard to recapture that feeling, right? Like sometimes you just hit lightning in a bottle,
Yeah.
right? And just works. Like there's so many things that like even like studios thought would fail and they become cult classics. You
Star
know,
Wars.
I think Forrest Gump flopped in the box office and it just ended up, you know, being a huge hit culturally. So
Yeah. I shouldn't say Star Wars wasn't a box office fail. It hit well in the box office, but the studios didn't really have much high hopes for it. George Lucas didn't even have the highest hopes for it because I know we've talked about it, but he made that bet with Steven Spielberg and with Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and George Lucas thought Close Encounters of the Third Kind would do better than Star Wars, and that was way off.
Samsonite. Speaking of Dumb and Dumber,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
well
it's
played.
it's just crazy what hits and what doesn't sometimes, right? They do have a formula. You know it. You can tell by the movies, and it's worked for the most part. But yeah, sometimes you just have those weird things that happen, like a Star Wars that becomes a cultural phenomenon. I mean, Star Wars is probably the biggest cultural phenomenon to ever happen. So anyway, I know we're here to talk about Bad Batch and
Yes,
Star Wars content.
yes. And for some reason our chat isn't working. I don't know why our live chat isn't up right now. So
Well, we get so many
apologies.
questions, so
Right, we get bombarded by them, but we have gotten questions. So if you are watching, I apologize with that. But we will be talking Bad Batch, so putting the spoiler tag out
yes,
there.
get that right away.
Oh, yeah, but not wait until we're talking episode 2 of
Can't
3.
believe Omega died this episode.
Mind blown. Took a different course than what I thought it
Very
was
brutal
going.
too.
Yeah. For a cartoon, just completely violent. Um so yeah, spoiler tag, we will be talking Bad Batch episode 4 on today's episode. Before we get to
Real
that,
quick.
oh, go for it.
No, you go first, and then I have something.
All right. Well, just a couple of news bits to call out. First of all, so canceled Respawn Mandalorian first person game. which is unfortunate because it sounds like it was actually getting great reviews. I don't know really how far along they were in the project, but it was supposed to be like a first person shooter, Mandalorian about Din Djarin.
We've had this
And
conversation before. It was like a
oh,
couple years ago. It's like whatever they say they're gonna do, just like don't even think they're gonna do it till it's literally in your hands and you're playing it or watching it or reading it.
right.
Because it's absolutely astounding how many projects they've been now. I mean, the hit rate's got to be like
Especially Star
20.
Wars or Disney in general. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and they have another one. I don't know if this is the same one. I would think it is, but it says EA. So what is that? Electronic Arts. That's what EA stands for. Lays off 670 jobs, and as a result, the Star Wars first person shooter game was canceled. Again, not sure if it's the same Mandalorian one because that was Respawn, but many times multiple companies work on single projects, so it could be the same one as well. And in the same vein of video
They had
game,
record profits, by the way.
really,
What a terrible message! Like, oh,
record profits, but cut 670
Yeah.
jobs. That is pretty bad.
It should
That's
be illegal.
terrible.
There should be like regulation on these companies. Like, if you can't just like cut employees to make your balance sheet look better.
Right. No, that's fair. And in the same vein of video games, so Dark Forces, the remastered version, has been released to consoles and PC. So people are now playing that. I'll be honest. Have you seen like comparisons of it? Do you remember Dark Forces at all on the PC?
I
played it.
remember The Force Unleashed, which was freaking awesome.
Oh, that was a sweet game. No, this is like
Duke might be all over that shit.
This is like Duke Nukem, like visual, that old game when it was like completely pixelated. Yeah. So that's what this game was like back in the day.
Before I drink it.
I was a little disappointed in how it was remastered because I thought it was going to be like more up to date in the visual graphics, but it's like barely anything. They've more rounded off some of the edges. It still kind of looks like that Duke Nukem thing, and I would have a hard time playing that on like a PlayStation 5. Like it'd be difficult.
Speaking of PlayStation, I gotta play the Last of Us game. I've downloaded it, I paid for it. Like now I gotta like.
Oh, you haven't played it yet? Oh,
just it's been tough. I haven't played any video games.
Yeah, either have I.
Buddies, they're like, oh, you got to get back into the Warzone and this, that, and the other. And there's a game that came out that's been really, really popular. Oh man, I can't believe I'm forgetting it. It's like huge right now. It's like killing bugs and stuff, and it reminds people. It's funny because the game. Like you drop on a planet and you kill a bunch of bugs, and apparently there's like a counter for how much of the bugs you're basically exterminating. Just wiping out species and
genocide. We love genocide.
The game has like really sparked renewed interest in Starship Troopers.
That was such a great movie, underrated movie. The first one.
Yeah, so and that's what like a lot of the younger generation is finding out because they're playing the game and then they're watching that movie. So it's kind of cool to see the younger generation kind of pick up on Starship Troopers. So there's another game that's absolutely incredible. I think I've talked about it on this podcast before. It's called Body Harvest. It was on N64, and it was like
Body Harvest.
It was one of the coolest games I remember as a kid because you could do like pretty much whatever you wanted. Like you could drive if you wanted to drive a plane, you could friggin' drive a plane. Like, car, you could steal a car. If you wanted to go on a boat, you could do that. So
Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, well, but killing bugs, right?
Yeah. Not people, killing bugs.
Yeah, it was great. It was a great, and of course I'm waxing nostalgic. It could have, if I played it again, I could think it's shit.
Yeah.
But speaking of things, and I don't want to detail detours too much.
No.
But I have been rewatching the extended versions of LOTOR right now.
Yeah.
And I can't do it all in one sitting anymore. I could on the weekends if I had like that kind. If I was a single male, I could do it. But I'm married with children, so I can't like just sit down.
Love and marriage. You said married with children's.
Yeah. A very underrated show.
Yeah,
Well, so I'm doing it like in bits and pieces. So I'll watch. I'm halfway through Two Towers right now. Like they're just starting to get to Helm's Deep.
such
So
a
good,
great
man. And like
franchise.
I'm
So
trying to
good.
remember because it's been so long since I've seen the movies, like what is extended and what's not. Because like the extended versions is a lot of different scenes and stuff. So I'm trying to remember what that
You
looks
get the
like.
most of that in the last one because Return of the King, it becomes like 4.5 hours long with the extended version. And I feel like there are a lot of parts in the extended version that they left out that were kind of key. Because one of the things from Fellowship of the Ring,
Barrow
remember
Downs,
what?
the Barrow Downs with Tom Bombadil.
Well, Tom Bombadil isn't in any of the movies.
That's what I'm sorry. I'm saying
Oh, something that got omitted that should have been included. Well, but in the extended editions, in the Fellowship of the Ring, they show Galadriel like giving all the gifts to the whole fellowship. And so you get an understanding of where these things came from. I think in the original release, all you see is when Gimli asks for the hair and a brief mention of the light of Iliador or whatever, the star thing. But you have no idea about the cloaks because then there's that scene where like Frodo and Sam are hiding under the cloak. Well, it's like, oh, okay, how are these guys not seeing it? Well, it's because it's like an invisibility cloak almost. But yeah, so there are some key parts in that got omitted, but
I
are
do
in the extended
remember
cuts.
like when they do the cloak thing. I love how like as soon as the guards walk away, they're like, "Ah," like
Yeah, it's like wait a little longer.
they're like 10 feet that way. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm pretty sure they would have figured out. Like,
Yeah.
that's just cinema, right? They can't like have them sit there for another
Right.
like 5 minutes. Like, is it clear yet?
Yeah.
You're like, oh my god, this is so boring.
You have to use your own imagination that it's been some time that has passed. So, but I had never seen the extended editions of The Hobbit, and I finally saw that for the first time not too long ago. And there's some pretty cool scenes in that too. So
I mean, you literally could not watch all these movies in a full day. Like,
it's
if you did it for
impossible, I
24
think.
hours, like it's nuts.
I don't think it's possible, especially if you throw in Rings of Power.
So anyway, I just wanted to point out, like I'm rewatching it. I'm super into it. Tomorrow, I'm watching Dune and then seeing Dune 2. So
There you go.
I might have
Before
to.
I finally saw the second Spider-Verse movie, and that is phenomenal. If
Oh
you haven't
yeah,
seen
that's
that
excellent.
one, oh, so good.
I'm
Cliffhanger
gonna
of
have to like not tell my wife and then just show up like later in the night, like 10 o'clock at night. She's like, "Where were you?" I'm like, "I saw Dune 2."
it. I know you're excited for that one, so I'm happy that you'll get to see that one soon. It's gotten great reviews, so
Yeah, my brother saw it tonight. He said it was excellent. So
good. All right, so should we jump into some Star Wars stuff now? Well,
let me ask you this before we, because we're gonna jump into Bad Batch. I'm gonna ask a
yep.
question. What theme do you think they're trying to hit on this one?
Oh, I easily. I even said to in my head, if this one thing happens in this, so you know where they're in the all animal cages and everything. If this
Okay,
one
so
scene
you know, right?
happens, what?
Jurassic Park.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. 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 So see,
Because
it's pretty obvious.
in the back of my head, I was like, I'm waiting for that cage scene where it's like, shoot her. And it ends up, I mean, it's not like that, but the captain gets pulled into a cage. I'm like, okay, well, there it is.
Pretty brutal too. I mean, like
Yeah. Oh, right on par. So we had Alien, it from one of the first three episodes, and now we're getting Jurassic Park. It's obvious they're doing this on purpose, right? Like
absolutely.
it keeps happening. So yes, Jurassic Park. I definitely got those vibes.
Or Ace Ventura when nature calls when he releases all the animals and they start like causing
Yeah.
havoc. I mean, that's what I want to believe.
Speaking of comedies, that one did have a successful sequel to it because When Nature Calls was amazing.
So here's a question. This is a debate I have with Callie. She's totally wrong on. But what is your favorite Ace Ventura of the two?
The second one,
Thank you. I think it's so much better than the first one.
I do
Callie's like,
too.
"Oh, the first one's a masterpiece." I'm like, first of all,
I mean, they're both great, but the second one I enjoy better. But
I mean, the spear scene. That just gets me every time.
and it's the subtlety is like what he's talking about, guano, is it guano?
Guano.
Um,
It's just so good.
yeah, it is really good.
There's a lot of boring moments in the first movie, and like in the second movie, I feel like it's just like go go go
Yeah.
go. The rhino scene, it like that is so good.
Oh, I love the see, I love the slinky scene.
Yeah.
Fine, let's do everything that you want to do.
By the way, starts the movie off like real sad.
Yeah, it does. What is that? Spoofing?
Raccoon.
Yeah, I know, but it's spoofing a movie. What is it? Where
Oh,
it's a
I don't know.
where it's a person holding on to another person and the person falls, like he lets go. It's like cliffhanger or something like
Hans
I don't.
Gruber.
No, not that. Not Hans Gruber.
Well, I mean that happens in the movie.
That's a Christmas movie.
Yippee Anyway, so
Yeah.
I wanted to establish the theme of the show,
Yes.
the episode right away.
Total Jurassic Park vibes in this. Um, so since we only have one episode, then I can actually walk through it a little bit and we can speak to it as we're talking through it. So it starts out where Omega, Crosshair, and Betcher, they crash land and
Betcher. Although it sounds like Betcha.
Betcher. I thought like Betcher or
Yeah, like she's the batch.
such a Betcher. So they crash land after fleeing the Imperial research facility, and so they're on another planet. Their ship is too damaged, so they'll need to look for a new ship. Omega brings up like going back to rescue some of the others that are still at the research facility, but Crosshair's like, no way, we're not going back. That's too dangerous. And
hey, lady, let's find a ship first before
yeah,
Oh, let's go rescue him.
Let's put the cart before the horse a little bit. And Crosshair does locate a town that's a few clicks away, so they start making their way to it. And then we cut to back at the research facility where Hemlock, he's walking through like some of the corridors of the research facility with a couple troopers, and he goes to a cell and it ends up being Nala Say's cell. So they're holding her captive now. And Hemlock tells her that he believes that she helped Omega in her escape and that she was purposely hiding the blood samples or doing something with them so that they wouldn't be detected like they did with that final sample that they had. He tells her that he seeks to capture Omega again and test the blood to prove that she was hiding it. And that, what he tells her, will decide Nala Say's fate moving forward. So
I mean, she was so cool, calm, and collected during that scene. I really enjoyed that. She's just like, I don't know. I mean, fuck, you tested one blood sample, it could have been a false positive.
Right, exactly. Well, and I think that kind of that kind of goes back to what we were talking about last week, though, where we feel like she doesn't really care about herself anymore. Her whole purpose is to make sure that Omega's safe and that the Imperials don't detect what they've been trying to locate. So whatever happens to her, so be it. I mean, her species has been pretty much eradicated, talking about genocide. Granted, I don't know. There's probably still more of them around, but a lot of them were destroyed when Camino got bombarded by the Imperials. So then we cut back to the port town where Omega and Crosshair are. There's a clear Imperial presence. So they look to stay hidden. They like find some clothes in the streets and change into them as a disguise. And they see shuttles flying overhead and they decide they need to head to the spaceport to try and get onto one of these shuttles. I at this part, I did get a little bit of Solo vibes here. We're not on Corellia. At least I don't think we're on Corellia. But I was thinking in the back of my head, like, wouldn't it be kind of cool if they did like a crossover? Like, I don't know where the timing aligns with the Solo movie on this, but what if you saw like Solo in the background if they were on Corellia? Like,
yeah,
this whole thing taking place at the same time. But again, I was just kind of getting the vibes of that movie when I was watching this. So they go up to one of the ticket people and say, they're looking for transport off the planet. And she asks for their passcodes. Yeah.
Chain codes. Chain codes.
Chain codes. Sorry, that's right. Chain codes. And Omega obviously lies and says, "Well, we lost ours because they don't have chain codes." And she essentially tries to bribe the person, and the
I mean,
person's
technically, she does bribe her
true.
because she's
Well,
like, "All right, 15 grand a passenger, let's go."
right. Yep. So it turns out that she will take $15,000 per ticket to allow them transport without their chain codes. And so then they're like,
By
okay,
the
well,
way,
where the heck are we going to find 30,000 credits?
you know what sends a red flag is being bribed by somebody who doesn't have enough money to pay the bribe right away. You
Right?
know,
Yeah. Yeah, that is a little bit of a
I
red
feel like,
flag. You don't have your chain codes.
wait a
You don't
second.
have any money for this bribe.
Yeah.
What's going on
Why
here?
would you try to bribe me without the money that necessary?
Right. No, that's totally fair.
You know what
Eh,
that scene felt like? That scene felt like in a video game. Like when you have the same experience where you go up to somebody and same thing, right? And you try
Yeah.
to bribe them, and then they give you a quest, and then you have to go find out how to get the 15,000 credits a passenger. So that's what it felt like. I got real like kind of video game vibes on that.
Well, and I was thinking in my head, oh, here we go. This is like we're gonna have a couple episodes where it's gonna be a side quest on how we get out of this planet. So I was not to get ahead of this, but I was happy to see that they did resolve this whole situation within this episode. So we didn't have this like long side quest and we could continue the story. So
Yeah,
that
and I
was
have some
nice.
thoughts on that too towards the end. So,
Okay. Um, so they're walking around the town just trying to figure out how are they going to get the credits. And it seems always convenient in like these type of things. Like, how is it this easy to get money? Like, why is it whenever people need money for like these situations, they always can find a way to come across it?
well,
I
it
I
was
will
only like a 26-minute episode, so I think they had to, you know, there's
I
like
would love to be in a situation where I'm like, oh, I need $30,000. Okay, well, let me just go do this and I'll get $30,000.
I think in television, right? It just so happens that dot dot dot, right? That happens a
Right.
lot because it
Yeah,
has,
it has to.
which is why like when we watch television and like things happen, like people sometimes feel like inherently jealousy, like especially like reality TV. Well, it just so happens, right? Like that's the problem is these things are set up to resolve quickly because if they were begging on the streets for 15,000 credits, for a year, that would be a fun series to
Right.
watch.
Right. Totally warranted. Um, so
Now,
they
it just so happens that Omega is an incredibly good whatever game they were playing.
Sabak.
Was that
I think
Sabak?
I believe it was Sabak. At
Yeah.
least the cards
Apparently,
look
she's
like
like a
Sabak.
prodigy.
Yeah. Who knew? Who knew that she could play this game? But they enter a bar or cantina, and Omega plans on trying to hustle someone.
Two
So,
clones walk into a bar.
right. She sees a Trandoshan playing Sabak, and she challenges him. She does well, wins a fair amount of credits from him. I don't think it was quite enough, but one enough. And then an Imperial captain walks in, witnesses what's going on, and then challenges Omega right as she's looking up to get, because the captain walks in, Imperials walk in, and Crosshair and Omega are like, oh, okay, we should probably get out of here. But the captain stops them and is like, how about you play someone who will give you an actual challenge?
By the way, absolutely loved the captain. Like,
yeah,
that was very well voice acted, very
yeah,
well. And also love that he was fat,
like no chin, just like
yeah,
straight neck.
yeah. I just, I don't know. I was like,
He's
oh,
the captain we can all relate to, right?
yeah. He's the
Some
Porkins of the Imperial world.
just walking in the bar, getting
You
his
should call him
normal
Captain Porkins.
captain. We'll call him Captain Porkins. He gets his usual drink at the cantina, and then he's going to challenge some underage girl to a game of sabacc, which is illegal in their planet. But hey, he wants some more credit, so he's going to do it this way. So Omega agrees to the challenge. So then we cut to Imperial pilots kind of flying around the airspace, and they locate Omega and Crosshair's crash shuttle.
Like, of course they're gonna do
Yep. So they find it, they call it in, and they say, okay, let's turn it back and further investigate this. So then we go back at the Sabak game. The captain says he's never seen her or her dad before, and she says they aren't from around the area.
Just passing by.
Just passing by. When it seems like the captain was going to win the game, Omega shows the three Eastern stars, I think is what it was called, which automatically allows her to win. The captain concedes as Omega wins and gives her the money. And then as the captain leaves, troopers then inform him that there's this crashed shuttle there. And I think the captain kind of put 2 and 2 together and was like, all right, I've never seen these people before. There's a crashed shuttle. There's
my
something
question
going
is,
on.
okay, if you put it together in the bar, why didn't he just be like, hey, you're coming with us?
Right. Well, he wanted his money.
I don't think he put it together then. I think he was so concerned about getting his money that he was thinking about that instead of it.
Could be. Again, could be.
I want to believe that because if he did put it together, then it's really freaking stupid of him to not just take him in right then and there.
Well, I think my interpretation was that he knew, but he still wanted to get his money because he wanted to get it back off the record.
And okay, then, but like if it looks like my hand's kind of floating there. Sorry. Ooh. Anyway, if she was a fugitive, he's gonna take the money anyway.
Yeah, but there's
to it then.
But there'd be more resistance potentially in that situation versus if he gets the money back with less.
Let's steal her dog.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because he did kick the dog out, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that
because it's not of this planet.
Right. Right.
Again, that's another thing. Like
indication that the crash shuttle was theirs. But so the captain turns around and approaches Omega and Crosshair. He said they failed to pay the fine of their game because, again, it's illegal on this planet, I guess, to gamble. So he says they can either pay the fine or be arrested. And she's like, all right, well, we'll pay the fine. And they're still able to walk out of there with 35,000 credits, which is enough for 2 tickets and then a little extra.
2 tickets to paradise.
Which conveniently leads into this next section because they walk out of the bar, they see Bitcher is missing, and then there's a kid like Merchant who is selling fruit.
Bitcher.
I'm saying Betch, like fetch, but Betch. Betch.
But it's Batcher.
Well, she has
the Bad Batch.
I thought it was Betcher.
I'm pretty sure because I have subtitles on. I'm pretty sure it's Batcher.
Okay. But well, I'm going to continue calling it Betcher.
She's got that New Zealand accent. The Batcher.
Right. Yeah.
that's how you would say Omega, like you said.
Omega.
Yeah, you said Omega. Anyway, sorry. I think it's Batcher because I have the subtitles on.
Well, I'm going to continue saying Betcher because that's what I hear. I might be wrong, but that's just what I'm going to say.
All right. I'm not going to yuck your yum there, but
conveniently, they've got that extra 5,000 credits because that kid Merchant says, well, they notice that their hound is no longer there. And the kid Merchant's like, well, I know where it is. For the right price, I'll inform you. So conveniently, 5,000 credits. The kid tells Omega where the hound is, that the captain took it and went to I think they went to the port. So Omega's like, well, we need to go get him. And Crosshair is like, are you kidding? It's far too dangerous. Like, we need to get out of here. You don't need to worry about your little pet.
And that you've known all of 2 days.
Right. But Omega insists, and she's like, I'm going, and you can go your own way if you want.
She's kind of like the greasy wheel that no one really likes at a party.
But Crosshair does end up following her to help, so he caves in that situation.
Which, by the way, did you see in the backpack he had guns in the back?
Yeah, I saw that.
That's illegal to gamble, and you can have just guns out left and right.
Well, how did he get the guns? Did they just wear a backpack?
Yeah, I don't. They did they explain how he got his outfit? Because you saw her like take the one off the clothesline.
Yeah.
What's that? You know, you just steal someone's clothes and you know no one's gonna say anything.
I guess not.
Anyway, continue.
Um, so then we cut to the port where there are many caged animals, and it appears like they're in the process of being transported somewhere. And this is where you start to really get that Jurassic Park vibe,
It's the pound
right?
for
It's
the
the
Imperials.
Imperial Pound. So Omega and Crosshair sneak in. Crosshair says, "Okay, we'll do it your way, but my skills are being wasted." And she responds saying, "Noted." So obviously, Crosshair, he wants to get some action going because he's just not really doing anything right now for what he
He's
was
bored.
built to do. He's bored. So they locate Batcher in his cage. I did that for you. Omega asks if they should free the other animals, and Crosshair's like, "Don't push it. Like, are you kidding me? Like, slow down here a little bit here." And then,
That was a bit of foreshadowing, I think.
well, yeah, a little bit. So they move towards Batcher's cage, but then the captain and some troopers intercept them. The captain says the fine for this is the rest of their credits. He confronts them, stating he
He's
knows.
like, well, but you won't need him because Hemlock's coming.
Right, exactly.
I like that line. He's like, well, you won't need him.
And he says that he has put together two and two, that the shuttle was theirs. He knows that. Hand over the credits and surrender. So Omega oblige, but then she tells Crosshair, let's try things your way. So this is kind of like, all right, let's start shooting them up. And sure
So
enough, Crosshair's like,
again,
finally.
I'm sitting there thinking, like, okay, like Hemlock must have conveyed how important this person is to them. Like you just once you just put the guns on stun and just like
Well, yeah. But did they even know? Because we didn't see until that final scene that Hemlock was notified that Omega was in the port. So did they know yet? I mean, they might know that someone's on the loose, but I don't know if the captain knows it was them.
again because they mentioned Hemlock by name. If he would have said, "Yeah, we know you're on the run from
True,
Bob,"
true, true.
he specifically mentioned Hemlock, so he must know like how important they are.
That's a good
I just
point.
find it funny, like
So the captain probably knows, but Hemlock doesn't know that they're there.
yeah,
Captain knows this is probably who Hemlock's looking for, but we haven't reported it to him
well,
yet.
yeah, and Hemlock probably knew that they were on that planet and they were going to get him.
Yeah.
But again, if I'm the captain, who throughout the episode seemed rather intelligent, I would just stun him right off the bat. Like, why are we having this dialogue?
Right.
Anyway,
Dramatic
continue.
effect.
I don't want to
Dramatic.
I don't want to
No,
be like
no,
Debbie Downer. Like,
no.
they
That's why
could
we do this.
stand him. Like Debbie Downer from Saturday Night Live. Break
No, yeah. No, that's what I want you to do. I want you to interject as we're reading through this and give your opinion. So that's perfect. Um, so then, you know, all chaos breaks out. Everyone's shooting at each other.
Let's out all the animals.
Lets out all the
Now
animals to create chaos.
that gave me the Ace Ventura vibes when they're like running over the stormtroopers, because
Oh,
that's kind of what happened with that. So
well, even some of the creatures look like dinosaurs for Jurassic Park. Like
yeah.
those like ostrich things almost look like raptors, or so it was just kind of very
Speaking of
reminiscent of.
that, I know you're gonna get to it, but like in the one big cage, you think that's a reptar or rap? Was it called reptar or something like that? The ones in Force
Oh,
Awakens.
oh,
Raptor.
I didn't even. Yeah, I never thought about that, but that's probably what that it could be. What that is.
Well, because they have the tentacles, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's just
Anyway,
probably a smaller one, but um,
well, that cage is pretty freaking big.
well, yeah. And so the animals are released. Chaos is going. Um, they get Batcher, and Crosshair tells Omega to take him and go get a ship. So she runs with the Hound. They get a cargo ship. They steal it, and she starts taking off with it.
Do you know what I love about spaceships in Star Wars?
They start up and can lift
Yeah,
off really
there's
fast.
no keys. It's like
beep, 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 beep.
Yeah, like okay, bye. Oh shit, we forgot the keys.
um, so it starts taking off, and then we get to that scene where we see the captain. He's
Which is
right outside.
brutal.
Yeah, very brutal, right outside this cage, and it comes unlocked, and it starts opening up, and I think the camera's from inside the cage looking at him, right? Isn't that what we first see? And then
Yeah.
it cuts to him being pulled in, screaming, which is probably, like you said, those Raptors or what Han Solo and Chewbacca are capturing and transporting in Force Awakens. So creature obviously like kills him or eats him or something. And then Crosshair joins Omega on the shuttle, and they jump into hyperspace and flee, and they escape safely. So then,
Knowing that the ship was going to be tracked, because I like that,
correct.
like Crosshair would know how things work. So
Yep.
it's like, ah, shit, we got to ditch this ride.
Yep. So we cut to their previously crashed shuttle where Hemlock and troopers are searching the area. The trooper tells Hemlock that they received confirmation that Omega was in the port and that they had escaped. So Hemlock tells the trooper that he wants them found immediately and brought back. And then we cut to Omega and Crosshair on the ship. She says they're flying to a place where Hunter and Wrecker are going to meet them. And Crosshair says it's been months. And Omega tells him, don't worry, they'll be there. And then the last scene that we have is they arrive to that spot, and we see the Marauder, and they land, and out walks Wrecker from the Marauder, and he and Omega run in greetings, and they hug each other. Hunter appears walking down the steps of their ship, and he said it's been 5 months, but it's her that found them. She then runs to embrace Hunter, and he says that they missed her and that they never stopped searching. But then he was like, but how did you escape? And then Omega says, I had help. And that's where we cut to Crosshair walking down the shuttle ramp. And then there's this visual tension that you see in the expressions of all three of them, meaning Crosshair, Hunter, and Wrecker. So there's still some bad blood there. But then we end the scene and the episode there. So
I just love how they know that the ship's being tracked, and there's like absolutely zero sense of urgency, like during this time period. I'd be like, hey, we could fucking do this later. Let's get out of here. Another thing I was thinking about is like, what a perfect opportunity to, if you are going to take your time, like if they weren't going to be there right away, they should fucking booby trap the ship. Like, they're going to find the ship and they're going to go to the ship and go on the ship. Hey, if you want to cause some carnage, booby trap it.
right.
Or, set it to explode, like as soon as like they get on, then you could take out Hemlock.
There's got to be like self-destruct mechanisms on these, right?
I mean, there is on the Spaceball ship. She's gone from suck to blow.
Whoa. Another great movie that never got a sequel, but probably for the best.
Hey, they just remade, was it History of the World Part 2, I think is what they did.
Oh, did they? I didn't know that.
Anyway,
I
liked the episode a lot.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. So, what's your thoughts of the episode?
I liked it a lot. There's some hokey things where again, like
that's expected though.
Wheel and all that. I was shocked that they concluded so fast. Like how, like that Omega getting to the Bad Batch crew, right? I was shocked that they did that. I thought they were going to drag it on because I mean, shit, they have like, there's only 4 episodes. Aren't there like 16 left or something?
Well, there's I think there's 15 or 16 total. So
okay, so I mean that's 11 episodes.
Yeah,
a lot of ground to cover. So I feel like now it's all going to be like fetch quests and shit. Maybe they're going to try to get rid of one gal, the Trandoshan gal that betrayed him.
Yeah, that's got to come up at some point. I feel like they're going to encounter her again somewhere.
I also, okay, we'll give Omega her shot to do her little hokey tactics, and then nope, that didn't work. Time for some violence.
I do think they still have a lot to cover. Meaning, so I don't know how many side quests episodes we have or creature features. I mean, there'll be creature features, but I don't know if that will be the point of the episodes. But I mean, Omega's probably going to get caught again because there's going to be a point where they are going to try to get her blood again. Wouldn't you think? Whether that's how the show ends or I don't know, but
I don't
I
know.
feel
It just feels kind of like she gets caught again. They just have to do the same crap again, and
but
I don't necessarily like that.
I feel like the Bad Batch are doomed from the get-go.
Well, yeah, I mean, I understand that, but I'm just saying there's a different way to end it instead of her getting captured again and
Right.
then them having to do like a suicide mission.
I just think they're going to get a hold of her blood one way or another because
By
they're
the way, I
going
don't know
to.
if you noticed, I saw this today on one of the Star Wars Facebook groups, but like somebody like had like a still shot, like the guy in the suit. It's like a weird looking suit, skinny guy, and they're like, "Oh, it's Tech." Yeah, I'm like, "You better not be motherfucking Tech. Tech should be dead."
I doubt it's Tech. I have to believe Tech's gone.
If I can find it, I'll send it. I mean, it's got like the frame of Tech. Like it wouldn't be shocking if it was Tech based on the photo. Like if it was a fat like Imperial officer, like no, well, unless
Right.
Tech really let himself go.
In the
But
5 months that they've been gone.
I really liked the episode. Again, they're 25, 26 minutes, so they're easily digestible.
Mm-hmm.
They're entertaining. Aside from some of the hokey stuff, I do like the theme stuff because it makes you think about, oh, hey, what's the theme this week? Like, oh, it's Jurassic Park this week, and there was Alien the week before, and blah 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 blah. So I do like that, and
I
I'm
just really
enjoying the
love
show. I mean,
I love the pace of this season. I've really
yeah,
enjoyed that. And I hope that they keep it going because I mean, in terms of how each season has started, I feel like this season has been the most captivating in terms of how it has started. It makes me,
yeah.
I
Well, it
mean,
helps when you have that third episode, which I would give like an absolute 10 out of 10.
oh yeah, that was great.
Now, my worry is the next episode is basically going to be them, re-accepting Crosshair into the group, and that's going to take a significant portion, right? Because you said there's visual tension, so it's going to be something that comes up in the next episode, right? Like it's
Yeah.
100%. It's going to be
Yep.
the you betrayed us, and we can't trust you. And by the way, it's going to be like that. And they're sitting on the planet the whole time, where like the ship that they need to get away from is parked right there. Yeah, like we can't get you, like we can't let you on the ship.
Can we have this issue on the Marauder as we're
Yeah,
leaving?
come on, guys, let's get out of here. I think that's what's going to be in store for next week.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I think it's going to take up a big chunk of the episode, and not really looking forward to that. I do think there's going to be some clunkers, and that's just the nature of a show that has that many episodes. But so far, I'm very impressed, very satisfied. We don't have much Star Wars content to go off anyway, so
And just remember, we have Asajj Ventress and Cad Bane still to come
yeah.
in the season. So
There's so many, and I tell you, man, there's so much good stuff out right now to consume when it comes to TV and move. Well, I mean, movies. I find myself watching a lot of older movies. It's like my comfort food.
Yep.
But like new shows, man, there's a lot. We're watching True Detective Night Country, and I'm really enjoying that show. We're 2 episodes in. And the last thing is like if in a perfect world we could just binge it. 2 kids, you can't.
No, can't do it.
No.
You can only binge from like what? Well, at least when we were binging, it was like 8:30 till 10:30. So we'll get like 2 hours
you get
of
like 2 episodes in if
yeah,
you're lucky. Yep.
yep.
So Jinx.
Yeah. So it's challenging, which helps when Bad Batch is like this number of minutes, 23, 26 minutes. But
Much.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, next episode we're gonna be in Kentucky.
Well, that's true. We will be in Kentucky.
Record an episode. Maybe we should record. Are we gonna get to 100? Because that would be kind of cool.
I know. Well,
we just gotta do like a 5 minute, like, well, hey guys.
Well, are you bringing your laptop or something?
I'll bring my work laptop. Yeah, I could bring one of the other.
Because I'll probably need to sign in on my Zoom and everything on yours. I'll bring my external hard drive so we can save it and load it.
I mean, this laptop's pretty. It's a gaming laptop,
but
so it's very powerful.
We could do it from like the airport or something. We can do a short little one.
Yeah,
we can find ways to fill in. I mean, we can do another one this weekend. Colleen works, so maybe.
Yeah, dude, we don't have anything going on this weekend. By the way, if Clean's working and you got JJ, if you want to meet somewhere like around like St. Paul, let's say. Anyway, that's probably not for the podcast, but
we'll figure things out. But yeah, let's try and get to 100. I think we have to make up like 3 episodes between now and then. But
hey, you know, we need to have Zach and Greg do some on their own, you know?
But yeah, that I thought Zach was going to join for this one. It seemed like he was.
He sent a text message.
Oh, I hadn't seen it.
Yeah, he said, "Fuck you, Mudge. I hate you." And then
I believe it. I believe it. No, because he was very nice. He sent me a Yoda comic, like a volume, since I was out for. He's like, I know you've been going through a rough time and everything, so here's a Yoda comic, and then he sent me a little bit of Uber Eats to get a meal. So thanks, Zach. I do greatly appreciate that. But we miss you. We miss you and Greg on the show. We need your guys' opinion. So maybe you guys need to do a side episode. You'll do what we keep talking about, what we don't like side episodes.
When we talk about something completely unrelated, but you what the fuck is going on with Uber and Lyft? Like they used to be.
I don't use them.
Well, so I went to the hockey game Tuesday. So I got home a little early. So I was just like, I'll Uber down the game. If I have a couple beers, I don't have to worry about driving and everything. So I got down there fine. Cottage Grove, got picked up, got there fine. Now I understand that there's like surge pricing and stuff. So I looked at the app like right when the hockey game was done, and it was like $80. So I said, okay, there's a shuttle that takes you to Bad Weather, which by the way, Bad Weather was closed. Which is so stupid.
I love Bad Weather.
It was only like 9:30. So anyway, go back to Bad Weather. Look back on the app. Okay, now it's down to like $30. All right, that's more reasonable. That's worth it. Click on the thing. It would not find a driver. I went through like 3 iterations of like, oh yeah, ride canceled, no drivers available, blah blah. So then I go to Lyft. I do find a driver right away. Oh, by the way, it's $20 now. So I'm like, oh sweet. The driver was set to be put at Excel Energy Center, which wasn't where I was, but not where I am. I mean, they use geofencing, so like I shouldn't have to like manually put where I am.
No,
so it sends the driver there, and I call him like, hey man, I'm at Excel, like it's sending you the wrong place, and he is hard to communicate. So finally, I just add a stop, so I had to pay like $5 more, which is again still less than I was in for Uber.
Right.
I had to wait like 20 minutes for this guy to, it was so stupid, and that's how it's been. We were down at a conference last year, and we could not find a rideshare on any app like Lyft, Uber. They are like way down as far as quality. Anyway, I just wanted to say if any of our listeners
are there still a lot of taxis out there too?
I don't see taxis.
I don't see taxis all too often.
But maybe we should start another rideshare app to compete with those shitty companies. That's what happens, right? Like, you start off, you're great, and then it's probably been 10 years since they've really been.
Sometimes you get too big that it gets too hard to manage.
Too big for your britches.
Pretty much.
Anyway, Uber, Lyft, figure shit out.
Figure it out. We need to figure out what we're going to be doing for the episode in Lexington, because I don't know if we've even decided what we want to do for that outside of just
I did drop the ball a little bit where we do have our beer, but I should have had them can some of the beers like with our logo, but it's just too late. I can't. It takes months to do that.
Oh, I'm sure.
I didn't think about it. I should have done that. It would have been freaking cool, but he's going to do that after the fact. So
okay. That still works. But yeah, come hang out with us. Come talk with us.
Lexington next week.
We'll be at Mirror Twin Brewery. We will be what day did we decide? Saturday is it that we're going to?
I think we should do Friday morning. I mean, do you want to do it when the brewery's open?
Yes and no.
Yeah. Well,
isn't there 2 buildings? Like
2 separate buildings. Yep. And there's a really nice couch. So we want to like probably do it on the couch. That came out weird. Anyway, we could do the podcast on the couch.
Okay. Well, maybe we do both. If we want to hit that 100 episode, maybe we can do two. We can do one in the morning when there's like no one there, so it's easier to talk. And then maybe we just have one for shits and giggles and we like bring people on and like
Are you gonna like bring a costume?
no, I don't want to bring a whole bunch on a trip that we're gonna be there for a weekend. So
Yeah, you might have to bring me like an extra Star Wars shirt or something.
yeah, I might bring like a helmet, maybe a couple little props, but I'm not gonna bring anything. I'm not gonna bring my whole like Darth Vader costume.
I should bring my little Revan figurine.
There you go.
Still in the box.
But maybe we can like
Sir, no, sir, I did not see you playing with your dolls again.
maybe we can like bring random people on and just ask them like Star Wars questions and see
Yeah.
how many they can get right.
I'm 100% in. We should do that with random trivia, and then I'll buy them a beer if they get it right.
Buy them a DetBlock.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm really looking forward to this. I've been looking forward to this for like weeks, and like next Thursday can't come soon enough. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
it'll
get
be fun.
tanked in the lounge. Have you ever
I
been to in the Delta Club?
yeah, I bet my dad had Delta Club, so I've been to
Okay.
in the Delta Club
Because
before.
I have like passes that if I have to use, so I'll get you in, no problem.
Sounds good. I just can't get to the level of. I just had more blood work done today, so
Yeah, I was wondering what that was.
yeah, I almost passed out because they had like they're like we've got some labs we're gonna take, and so they sent me down to where they do it, and then the lady is like she printed off all the labels that for the blood work, and it was like 20 different labels, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, how much
Yeah, you're
blood
like,
are
oh
they gonna take it?
shit.
Yeah, and I ended up almost passing out when we had 3 left to do. So they had to bring me like apple juice and graham crackers, and they had to lay me down, and then they finished up on the other arm after probably like 15-minute rest. So it was kind of funny, but yeah. So I'll kind of wrap it up here. Again, looking forward to a week from today where we will be heading down to Lexington, and we will do a live broadcast from the brewery. We'll do trivia, not trivia because we don't want to, stomp on other people's territory, but we will do just random questions and kind
We
of
do
have
have
fun with
a
them.
really nice dinner slated for Saturday.
Okay.
So
Sweet.
bring your wallet.
Bring my wallet.
Yeah,
It
don't
goes,
forget that shit.
it goes wherever I go. So
Hey, do you
I'll
have TSA pre-check and all that shit?
no.
Oh, well, I'm fucking leaving your ass behind.
Well, that's fine. I don't care.
You need to get to the airport like 2 hours before I do. And I
Yeah,
mean,
because
I think we're gonna dodge spring break, so that's good.
yeah, well, it's still too early for that, I think. So at
Too
least
early for what?
too early for spring breakers.
Yeah, well, I hope we don't, because then the airport's a fucking cluster.
But I don't think many people are spring breaking to Lexington, so that might
But I'm just saying the airport in
for
general.
the
and
airport in
security.
general. Yeah, I think we'll
If it's spring break week, that could be pretty tough.
yeah. But we're leaving on a Thursday, so that helps. Not as many
Thursday
people.
at the fucking yeah, it's gonna be late, but very, very fucking pumped for it.
Yep. So with that, I will just speak to our social media handles. So you can find us on Twitter at DetBlockAA23pod, on Instagram at Detention_block_AA_23, then our Facebook group and YouTube channels, Detention Block AA23, a Star Wars podcast. Bring us your likes, follows, downloads, subscriptions, ratings, comments, all of the above. Any little thing that you can do, we greatly appreciate it. It helps put our name out there amongst the hundreds of Star Wars podcasts and live streams out there. So appreciate it. With that, any final thoughts from you, Bob Saget?
Just keep on keeping on. One world, one love.
One world, one love.
I don't know what that means, but
Sounded cool. Maybe
I
better than doing it on the couch. It sounded better than that.
yeah, that wit. Yeah, it's gonna be a great next week. We're looking forward to it, and hopefully some people who are listening to this maybe are in the Lexington area, maybe you just want to travel in for it. If you do travel in for it, you'll get all the free beer you could want, and I'm saying that without my brother's permission, but fuck it. So it'll be worth your while. You could drink your plane ticket and beer. I know Mudge will.
because it was free. So,
Yeah,
well,
I'm really
companion
sad about that.
pass. Sweet.
Next week's gonna suck because it's gonna go like really slow.
I have to go in the office actually next week
Ooh.
for I'm going Tuesday and Wednesdays. So, but all right. Well, thank you, all you listeners, for joining us today. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great rest of your week. And we'll look forward to when we talk to you all next time. With that, may the force be with you.
And also with the Battle Hawks.
Here we go with the caca again.
Yeah, it's coming back. Hey, they started training camp, so here we go.
There you go. Baseball's right around the corner. That's what I'm looking for.
I could care fucking less. It's my team, like literally they're signing. And if you're 35 to 37, you're fucking on the team.
It's still baseball. I love baseball, so I love watching it. All right. Well, we'll catch you guys.